Hello, I am Sylph, and that over there is Matt, and this is
Hello.
Sylph Uncensored. This week, we haven't been around for a couple of weeks, and basically the reason for that is I released my service, Port 87. It's an email service, and in my opinion, it's the best email service, and you can try it out right now at port87.com. I also made it so that you can bring on your own domain name, so if you have a domain name, you can bring that on and use Port 87 to manage your email for that domain. So, yeah. All right. So this week we have an interesting video. Well, I don't know if the video is interesting, but the title sure is. It says, Escalator shuts down on Trump at UN in massive security breach. This is Tim Pool's Timcast IRL. Was it a security breach here? I'm going to bring up the thumbnail. The thumbnail even highlights security breach. Like an escalator shut down. Is that a security breach? Like is the escalator part of security? Like is it part of security that Trump doesn't have to use his fat ass legs to walk up steps?
Yeah.
Okay. Just so Tim Pool and we are all on the same page here.
Yeah.
Trump having to walk upstairs is a security breach. Got it.
Right.
Cool. All right.
We got Cove Pure. You may have seen this. Utah and Florida recently banned fluoride.
Starting with an ad?
Now ask yourself, why are they doing a massive U-turn on a chemical that's been pumped into our water purifiers?
I don't wanna-
To remove it to
Is this an ad?
99.9% of impurities.
I'm so confused.
That includes fluoride.
Is this an ad for
Yes, but
like
also all the other
fluoride-free
PFAS,
water? Is that what this is?
fertilizer runoff, pharmaceuticals, you name it. Wow, that's
I don't understand. It's all a fucking ad.
Yep.
It starts off with a minute and a half of ads.
for Mediaite. The White
Okay,
House
here we
press
go.
secretary demands an investigation into the bad escalator that stymied Trump at the UN. I actually think
It stymied him because he's unable to walk up some fucking stairs.
Did you see the video? I think he's going to play it.
Okay, let's see.
was a shot across the bow.
I saw the beginning of the video.
I don't think this was a prank. I think this was a statement that they will kill him. And let's you watch.
I'm sorry, what? Excuse me? A statement that they will kill him? That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is conspiratorial. The escalator stopped. That's a statement that they will kill him.
That escalator issue escalated quickly.
Yeah, it did exactly what the escalator didn't. Like,
That's right.
That's, if anything, it's a joke about him being lazy. If it was like not just the escalator malfunctioning, which is most likely.
That's almost certainly what's going on.
Yeah.
It's real choppy.
As Trump is walking to the escalator, they turn it off right when they get on it. And Melania.
Oh, yeah.
Turn it off. It fails.
Trump and everyone look around.
And it's so funny. They just get stuck there for a second. It's just like, what's going on with the escalator?
Like maybe someone turned it off, but if they did, it was like a prank. You know? It's not like a threat to make him walk up steps. Yeah, sorry the video is real choppy, but there's not a whole lot going on. Trump just steps on the escalator and then it stops.
I thought there was a better video than
to
this.
walk up the stairs.
Not partially blocked because they walk up to the escalator and they just kind of like stop for a few seconds. Like,
yeah, and he stands there.
What's going on?
and
they kind of look
Melania
around, and then finally, like Melania starts going up the stairs, and then using the escalator just like stairs, and that was it.
Yep. Yeah, that's Tim calls it a threat.
Yeah,
like, seriously, making Trump walk up steps if it was intentional does not count as a threat. That is crazy.
Yep.
Two reasons. One, it is being viewed. We have this story from the Times of London. To mark Trump's arrival, UN staff members have joked they may turn off the escalators and elevators and simply tell them they ran out of money, so he has to walk up the stairs. This was previously reported that they would do it. The first thing people are saying is they intended to insult Trump in a way that actually could have injured him and his wife. And so there should be criminal charges here.
Yeah,
could have
turning off an
injured
escalator
him.
is totally going to injure you.
So hold on. So what he's saying is if Trump has to walk up steps, that risks injury?
Yes.
He's so fucking fragile that walking up steps is perilous for him.
Apparently.
He's in mortal danger by lifting his fat ass legs 10 inches at a time
Yeah.
and then heaving his body up one step at a time.
I actually
Mortal
think it's a little bit
danger.
more than that. This is called
Mortal
freezing
danger.
the target. Donald Trump is moving through an area and they stop him dead in his tracks, creating an opening for an attack on him. There are a lot of people freaking out that this violated secret.
Creating an opening. He was surrounded by Secret Service people. What is Tim Pool talking about here? This is insane,
I don't
Tim. This is the wildest conspiracy theory I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I've heard some wild ones. This is so Tim Pool thinks that Trump being at the bottom of a staircase, he's in like perilous danger.
Yes.
He could not be more vulnerable being at the bottom of a staircase. What does Trump
Right.
do every time he has to walk upstairs? Does the Secret
I don't
Service just
know.
like all like clump together around him like that time that he got shot at and just like slowly move
Like-
him up the stairs? No, he's
Do they
just a
like,
guy
lift
walking
him up or
upstairs.
something?
He's not
Right.
in danger.
Yeah. With like
Secret
tens,
Service
if not hundreds of people around him.
Yeah. Like he was in a secure area. No one's gonna like I can't say no one, but like almost definitely no one was trying to like assassinate him at the bottom of the stairs by turning the escalator off. That's crazy. The escalators are slow. Like he can probably
Yeah.
walk up the escalator faster than the escalator could move him up it.
Yeah.
Call because they immediately should have covered him when you get an anomalous action like this, and they didn't.
Just stop funding the UN and kick him out of New York.
Yeah, the Jets should be playing there. Being
Right.
honest.
Well, I don't know if there's enough room.
That may be even more insulting to the American people than the UN would be having the Jets play in such fantastic real estate. No, yeah, this is totally
the Jets in New Jersey.
definitely like, dude, the way the UN operates, it's so third world. It's like total. It's like embarrassing every time Trump has to show up to these places.
It is embarrassing, but not for the reason he thinks. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing because every time Trump opens his mouth, what comes out is just verbal diarrhea.
Yep.
So yeah, this is not surprising. This is
Before
some
they-
degree of intentionality here.
Before they built the UN, it was meatpacking warehouses and slaughterhouses.
Yeah.
Look what they did to his teleprompter.
Yeah, but that's not the
Okay.
building they're in. Like they
Yeah,
they raised the other building to the ground and built up the UN building.
Yeah, it turns out a lot of buildings are built where other buildings used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say, for the sake of argument, this was intentional, right? We don't know whether it was intentional.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 50-50 on whether it was intentional or not. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, it definitely was intentional. Okay. So what does that mean? It means they're trying to embarrass him. Big whoop.
Yeah.
That's not a threat.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
like he just has to walk upstairs. Cool. Great. That's not even that big of an embarrassment. Honestly, that shouldn't even be embarrassing. Walking upstairs. If walking upstairs
Yep.
is embarrassing to you, you probably shouldn't be the president of the United States. And
Yeah.
I say that fully knowing that when Biden was walking up those stairs to the plane and fell down, that was embarrassing. You know?
Yeah.
I think maybe it's time we have a president who's not a baby boomer. My entire lifetime, every single president, except for when I was a baby, has been a baby boomer. Every single president,
Yeah.
from the moment I was like 4, I think, when Clinton got elected, to now, every single president has been a baby boomer.
Wow.
And it sucks. That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The thing as well. I think
Yeah.
that malfunctioned or didn't work. Maybe that was another kind of thing to try and trip him up during his speech. I mean, the UN was set up really by the Americans after the Second World War to kind of
And it used to be, when Clinton was elected, he was like, what, in his 50s, I think?
Something like that. Yeah.
Like either late 40s or early 50s, I think. Now, Trump got elected and he's like almost 80 years old. And Biden was too. Biden was the same age that Trump is now when he was elected, I believe. He was around 80. So, like, maybe we shouldn't have octogenarian presidents.
Yep.
Global
Or even
politics. This was
septuagenarian.
really an American enterprise, American liberal enterprise, I should say. This kind of the original neocons and the hawks of the in the 1950s, 1940s. This was FDR's dream. This was Truman's dream. This was like a Democrat dream to have a kind of united world. This was globalism. This was a global government under the auspices of American liberal.
Yeah, imagine having a united world. How nightmarish for
Right.
conservatives.
Yeah.
Right.
They couldn't just kill people in boats in the middle of the ocean
Yeah.
without just cause or due process or anything.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it would be nightmarish for conservatives if the world were actually united, because that would
Yeah.
mean that white conservative men weren't in charge of everything. And that is their whole goal. White conservative men just want to be in charge of fucking everything
Yep.
and in charge of fucking everything.
Yeah.
democracy
Not
and
in a good
American
way.
rule. And now, with Trump in charge, obviously he's kind of a complete contrast to the original aim of the UN. He's a nationalist. He's not a globalist. So suddenly, you've got an American president, the president of the most
I mean, he says he's a nationalist, but he's also not even really a nationalist, because a nationalist actually cares about their own nation, and Trump does not.
No.
Like, he
He only
uses
cares
the
about himself.
auspices of nationalism to
Yeah.
to rile up his base and get votes. But when it actually comes time to, enact policies that are good for America, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He is a corporatist and a fascist.
Yep. That's
powerful country.
basically the same thing, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's not quite, but it's basically.
Powerful country in the world who goes against their globalist agenda, goes against
And again,
their
sorry for
globalist
the stuttery
values,
video.
is a nationalist, explicitly says, I'm going to put America first. And so they have to humiliate him. Maybe they even have to put him in danger, as we saw today. And I think for
He's not in danger from an escalator.
Again, he's not in danger. If having to walk up steps means he's in danger, then he should not be the president.
Is he in
Absolutely
danger
should
of-
not be the president.
Is he in danger of having a heart attack from exerting himself too much? Is that what they're worried about?
I mean, they're
That's the only
worried
kind of
about him
danger I can
being
see him in.
open. They're worried about him being open to like a sniper or something.
Yeah,
but
I
like-
know. I was joking. I was.
Oh, okay. But, even that is like unreasonable. Why would he be open to a sniper walking up steps and not be open to a sniper riding an escalator? Like, he's traveling through the same space at probably roughly the same rate.
He's.
What
I
difference
believe
is there?
also wasn't he inside the building?
Yeah.
So how you're worried about a sniper inside a building that I'm sure was secured before he ever got there?
Yeah. Like, if they're worried about him being in danger when the escalator is working, then he's also in danger when in being in danger when the escalator is not working. Then he's also in danger when the escalator is working.
Yeah.
So this is like, they're just trying to make something out of nothing here.
Trump
Yeah.
and for America, you should be angry about this. This
Yeah.
is like an institution that's
No,
as I
I'm
said,
definitely
set
not
up by
angry
the
about
American
it.
Government, and they are insulting you. They're insulting your country to your face.
Well, yeah, it's just set up as an institution to allow, like, effectively the third world.
So who is they in this scenario? Just the UN in general?
Just the they. The
Like,
they
that
are
building
out
is
there
run and
against
maintained by
Trump.
Americans, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So it would be other Americans then.
I guess so.
I don't
Well,
know.
I
Maybe
don't
the
know,
UN
so-
building is run by non-Americans, but still, like, who cares?
I mean, so the UN is probably paying for the maintenance and upkeep of the building, right? Because they actually have a budget, right? And that's their building.
Okay.
But likely they're going to be hiring a lot of Americans to do it
Yeah.
because they're in America. It's in New York, right?
Yeah. So this is probably Americans that did this, if anyone did it.
Right.
And a normal person who wasn't a fragile little snowflake would just take it in stride.
Right.
But conservatives, every single conservative on our screen so far has been such a goddamn fragile little snowflake. They cannot handle someone joshing the president.
Yep.
They could handle someone joshing Joe Biden. That didn't matter to them
Of course not.
because he wasn't their president.
Yeah.
You know, they only like America when America is run by conservatives.
Yep.
World and these like I mean these really jokes of countries to like more like have this moral posturing against the United States. That's all it is. Like the Human Rights Council, and it's like they're throwing
wrong.
like, yeah, like North Korea's on here and China and Iran. Like this is fantastic. And it's like the entire thing is just bureaucratic chest beating.
Clown
Doesn't
world.
get anything done. And then like you're saying, I mean, from the auspices, just like this globalist wet dream.
Doesn't get anything done. Coming from the guy on Tim Pool's podcast. I'm pretty sure the UN accomplishes a whole lot more than Timcast IRL.
Yeah.
And it's just like enough. That's why seeing Trump there is so bizarre, because it's just this is opposites. This is America versus like third world led globalism. Even nothing in the UN works. Even the peacekeepers is like 80%, I think.
It's always the United States. The United
No,
States.
the peacekeepers.
So can you really say that doesn't work? Because for the past, like, 60 years, 70 years since the UN and then, its predecessor right before that, just after World War II, that entire time that they've existed has been the most peaceful time in world history. I'm not saying there are no wars, because there definitely have been wars. There just have been
They're
far
still
fewer
ongoing.
conflicts than at any other time in human history.
Yeah.
So what evidence does he have here that the UN specifically did not help or aid that in any way? Or does he just believe that that's untrue?
I know. Well, he's going off on UN peacekeepers now, which is the force that the UN has to put into places to try to that war zones or whatnot, that are not supposed to be happening, and they're supposed to stop the fighting. But and he's trying to say I think he's going to say that they're mostly U.S. forces, which I don't think is true, and it's kind of dependent on where they are, because they tend to not like to have foreign troops in the peacekeeping forces, like in air going on to different areas, right? They want to try and get people or troops that are from a similar area, right? So they're not too different, I believe. But I don't know.
This is like one of the most incompetent fighting forces on planet Earth. So it's like even like the one mechanism that
I mean, they're not really a fighting force per se, right?
Yeah. The peacekeepers are one of the most incompetent fighting forces on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, my microwave is one of the most incompetent refrigerators on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
every time
almost
I
as
put my
bad-
food in there, it comes out hotter.
Yeah. It's almost as bad as like this a president who's trying to start a war with Venezuela going to speak in front of the UN and demanding the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yep.
the UN to be able to do properly. They can't even do that. They're like having to drag kids out of like Indian villages to give them gigs in the peacekeeping force. Like it's a total joke.
Just look at a contrast between what Trump's speech was and Macron's, because Macron was talking about France.
What was that criticism?
I don't know.
Is he upset that people from India are in the peacekeeping forces? Or does he think that only people
Apparently.
from India are in the peacekeeping forces?
I don't know.
I didn't understand that.
recognizing Palestine as a state. And Trump today said about the Europeans, I love Europe, I want you to do well, but mass migration and your energy policies are killing you. Trump was just in the UK last week and they had a quite good state visit between our Prime Minister Keir.
Is Europe dying?
No. So he's complaining about, Trump was complaining about energy policies, which basically means like they're investing in renewable energy.
Yeah.
And Trump particularly hates windmills or wind turbines, but because like there was one that was going to be put offshore. I think it was in the UK, right? That was gonna mess with the view from one of his golf courses. You know, it was going to be in view from one of his golf courses, and he thought it was just terrible. And so now he's like super anti-wind. He's a little bit anti-solar, but he's mostly anti-wind energy. So it's really, really stupid.
I think probably all of it boils down to he's more pro fossil fuels than anti anything else. You know, any enemy of fossil fuels, he is his enemy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably getting a lot of fossil fuel money, but I think there's a little bit more for particularly wind because of that thing that he had against these wind turbines going up.
Yeah, I've heard the rare. I've heard that causes cancer.
Yeah.
I've never heard that noise come from a windmill.
It causes ear cancer? I don't know.
If I ever do hear that noise, I'll be sure to stay away because the president
and he's
of the
very
United
concerned
States
about
said
all the
that
birds.
causes cancer.
All the birds that are getting killed by these big wind turbines.
Yeah, which is interesting because I believe buildings kill an enormous amount more of birds, like orders of magnitude more birds, as well as domesticated cats kill an order of magnitude more birds than windmills. But I don't think
the buildings were killing the cats.
No, the buildings kill the birds, the cats kill the birds. On orders of magnitude more than windmills. But Donald Trump, as far as I know, is not anti-building. In fact, you know, based on how many buildings he's put his own name on, I would venture to guess that Donald Trump is quite pro-building.
Right.
I don't know how he feels about domesticated cats. That I have no evidence either way. But I would think that if you wanted to be a consistent person, if you wanted to have like consistency in your narrative, that if you're actually worried about birds, which Donald Trump says he's very worried about birds, which is why he's anti-windmill, then you would be worried about all of the things killing birds, not only the thing that just so happens to be an alternative to an industry that you take a lot of money from.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know what that says about a person. Oh wait, I do. He's a liar. That's what it says. He's a liar. Yeah.
Starmer and Trump, where they sort of were on quite good terms. But now Trump is going completely opposite. You know, now that he's in New York, he's saying Sadiq Khan is a crazy guy, crazy mayor of London, again, blasting Europe because of our failed mass migration policy in particular. It is so refreshing to see an American president say, first of all, that they love Europe and they love, you know, Britain. Trump is a huge Anglophile, and he doesn't want to see us be destroyed by mass migration. Unlike Keir Starmer, I have to say, and a lot.
Does Trump love England? I don't think Trump gives a shit about England.
I don't think he gives a shit about anything but himself.
Yeah.
But he has like golf courses and other properties, I think, in England.
And Scotland, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he has one in England.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, I don't think Trump cares about England.
Britain.
Yeah, but he said specifically regarding England that Trump loves England, and I don't think that that's true. Yeah. I don't even think Trump loves Scotland. I think he just loves his golf course there.
Right.
flooding the country with millions of migrants over the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Your conservatives are one step away, one step to the right of leftists.
It's incredible that the Conservative Party, for 14 years in Britain, opened the floodgates, despite promising to do the exact opposite, to millions and millions of migrants from the third world, from places like Nigeria, India, Pakistan, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Bangladesh. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions, from each of those countries coming in a very, very short period. We talked about Boris Johnson earlier. There's a huge amount of discourse in Britain at the moment about the so-called Boris wave of migrants. This is like the 4 million migrants who came in under Boris Johnson's premiership when he was Prime Minister, again, almost entirely from the third world. And Trump is clearly upset
This is just blatantly racist.
Yeah, pretty much.
about this, as
It's
he should
it's
be.
more of the
He's an Anglophone.
anti-immigration racist BS.
Yeah. So, in case our position isn't clear, we think that immigrants make a country stronger.
Yeah.
And that's borne out by evidence. Immigrants for the entire history of the United States have made the United States stronger. Immigrants contribute to our society. They take much less than natural-born citizens, and they give much more to society.
Yeah.
That's how it works in the U.S., and I'm sure that that's how it works in Britain as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to plug my
He loves Britain.
other YouTube channel, The Power of Money. I'm working on a video about immigrants and the cost of immigrants. I haven't got a specific title yet. So watch for that one to come out on immigration and immigrants. It'll probably be US centric, I know, but I want to make it like at least somewhat worldwide. Keep an eye on that, and I'll go into much more depth on this whole topic.
All right. Maybe I could link to that on this video once you release it, if you remind me.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to, but it's probably going to be like 2 months from now. I just started on it. I have one that's coming out hopefully in a few weeks. It's with the editor now, and this is the next one I'm working on.
Okay. And to reiterate, that is The Power of Money on YouTube.
Yes, correct.
Do you have like an @ username that you can put in the URL?
I think the @ is at the Power of Money doc.
Okay.
As in documentary.
Okay.
You can try looking up.
And he sees this country choosing a very, very dark path.
Yeah.
Nigel Farage actually came out, the leader of the Reform Party. This is the kind of right-wing populist party in Britain. He came out saying that he's not going to give the Boris waivers, these kind of migrants, what's called indefinite leave to remain, which means they will be able to remain in the country basically for the rest of their lives and be put on the path to citizenship and potentially have welfare and stuff like that. And this is going to save the country hundreds of billions of pounds. And it's quite...
No. Immigrants. So he's looking at this as only one side of the equation,
Yeah.
What do immigrants cost a country? Which you can say, sure, the country might save millions of pounds, hundreds of millions of pounds, whatever he said. It might. That actually might be true. But you're not looking at the whole picture, because immigrants create wealth for a country.
Yep.
So, let's say, I have a job that's 30 miles away, and every day I wake up, I get in my car, and I drive to my job, right? I could save money by not buying gas anymore. Right?
Yeah.
I could save tons of money. It costs a lot to fill up my truck. Like $80 every time I fill up my truck. So I could probably, if I'm doing that every day, I could probably save a couple $100 a month by no longer buying gas.
Yeah.
But I also can't get to my job.
Yeah.
So I ain't got any
Well, you
money coming in that scenario.
Well, you
so
can
am
get
I
to your job.
ultimately saving money?
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
You can get to your job because you work from home, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. Well, in this scenario, I have a job that's far enough I have to drive.
Right.
Can't walk it either. I can't walk 30 miles a day and then back 30 miles a day. Yeah.
quite interesting to see the radicalization. I think Nigel Farage is looking at Trump and sort of taking lessons from his political rhetoric and what he's doing on the southern border, what he's doing with the mass deportations, and adopting that language and those policies to the context of Britain. So what Trump says on the world.
And I will say, it's not every single immigrant, and a lot of these conservatives on the right will specifically point out immigrants that damage a country. You know, like immigrants that commit crime, end up in prison, stuff like that. They'll go to specific cases and they'll try and make their case based on the emotional response that story elicits in the listener. But if you get past specific cases and look at overall statistics, then what we're saying becomes very clear, that immigrants are helpful to a country. Immigrants will, in general, improve society and generate more wealth than the cost that they take.
Yeah.
You know, they'll generate more in tax revenue than the benefits that are paid to them.
Right. Because they can't really get any benefits.
Well, they can, and they should, especially if they become citizens.
Yeah.
You know, because at that point, they are a citizen. They're paying into the system. Why shouldn't they be rewarded for that?
Yeah.
So, you know, these, I don't know about him specifically, but a lot of conservatives will point to very specific cases of immigrants. And sure, there are cases of immigrants that are bad and do commit crimes and end up in prison and do take from the system, but those are even fewer than like the rate of natural born citizens. In general, immigrants, at least in the US, commit crimes at a lower rate than natural born citizens do. So, you know, pointing to those specific cases just really shows that the statistics aren't on their side.
Yeah.
Stage, Americans have to remember this, because maybe you're not thinking so much about Europe or other countries. What Trump says actually matters.
Yeah.
It has a huge impact on the political situation in places like Britain. And Trump basically is giving cover to nationalists in Britain and Europe to be able to pursue much, much harder policies than they would be able to pursue, let's say, if Biden was there or Obama and so on. He's really pushing the whole
so we'll make
to the right.
You know, the United Kingdom more fascist. He's, you know,
I mean, that's their goal, right?
Yep.
Like, conservatives' ultimate goal is to implement fascism. Prove me wrong.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's very, very impressive. And his speech at the UN today, despite all of the problems with the teleprompter, despite the escalator thing, actually it was very refreshing and quite a novel experience to see a US president talk for, I think, more than 50 minutes and saying these quite radical nationalist things at the UN, the globalist institution.
Yeah, well, it's just
he said like completely insane stuff to the UN. Like, it was nationalist, yes, but it's also just like off the wall. Like I said earlier, he bragged about killing people, the people on boats off Venezuela, basically committing a war crime, and then demanded the Nobel Peace Prize. It was more than that absurd, you know?
Bragged about doing a murder and then demanded recognition for being so peaceful.
Exactly.
United Kingdom is like, hey, we're taking the boot off your neck. Like, you can actually operate. And it's allowing everyone to actually bring these guys in and ask them questions.
Taking the boot off your neck? Like, democracy is a boot on your neck?
Apparently.
That's crazy.
I think he's got his metaphor all mixed up.
Right? Yeah, fascism is the boot on your neck. Like, literally, fascists will put boots on your neck.
Yeah.
Mass migration. What was the benefit of that? I mean, like, we like our mutual friend of the show, Connor Tomlinson, like, he filmed an interview with Michael Gove, where you just like, all you have to do is just bring these guys in front of a camera and just ask them some very basic questions on like the economics of mass migration, on like, have you had any thoughts on what this could do to the national like environment, the national culture, and these sorts of things, and they just crumble immediately. But it's because the United States, with this neoliberal establishment, just ran cover for them for all these years, and now that Trump's in, now that the boot's off the neck, these guys actually actually have the answer for what they've done.
It's incredible. You talk about Connor's interview with Gove.
Yeah.
This has been a bit of a speciality of mine, is interviewing conservative politicians from the right in Britain. This includes actually Nigel Farage, who I interviewed last year and asked him about mass deportations. He was against that, of illegal migrants. But this year he's completely flipped and has become far more radical on the issue, supporting mass deportations. I also...
Against that of illegal migrants? I think most people are against illegal migration, right? I'm against illegal migration.
Yeah. Within reason, like illegal migration is part of a process sometimes towards legal migration.
If you're talking about asylum, that is legal migration.
Yeah, well, sometimes there are people who come across the border in the United States illegally. They're not seeking asylum, but they do get into a process towards becoming legal migrants.
Okay. Then I would classify them as not, strictly speaking, illegal migrants. If they're in the process of becoming legal migrants, then that's fine.
Well, as I think we've pointed out on this podcast or this show, and other people have pointed out, like, isn't like crossing the border illegal sort of akin to like, getting a parking ticket, right? Or a moving violation in a car or something like that. Like it's not a criminal act, right? But it's a civil violation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When I say I'm against it, I don't mean I want these people like rounded up and deported. What I'm saying
sent off
is
to some sort of camp where they're concentrated into a small area, sort of concentration camp.
Like I'm definitely not in favor of those things. What I'm saying is like I don't want that. Like I don't want all immigration to be legal. I think that's kind of like what he's implying is. It's like this term "open borders," that conservatives love to throw around. Which, as far as I know, no one on the left wants open borders in the way that they're thinking, which is to say anyone can just cross at any time for any reason.
Right.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I do think that there should be a legal way to enter the country. And I think that if you enter the country illegally, that there should be a process that determines whether you can stay here. And if you make it through that process and we've determined that you can't stay here, you don't meet the qualifications or whatever to become a legal migrant, then you would get deported.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these conservatives don't like that process. They don't want that process. They just want, you're too brown to be in the United States, you get deported. Which to me is disgusting.
Did an interview with former Prime Minister
scammer
Liz
calling
Truss,
me.
again a conservative prime minister, who Connor really loves her. She's kind of got different views now, but when she was prime minister, she was in favor of Indian mass migration. She was in favor of a lot of these kind of woke policies. She called herself an LGBTQ plus ally.
So what is Indian mass migration? Is that just people migrating from India?
I think so. They're migrating in mass? I doubt it.
Like, what do you... Well, not you, but what does he define as mass migration? Like 1 million people? Is that a mass migration? 1 million
Probably
Indians
more than
in your country? It's more likely than you think? Seems like that wouldn't be a problem. Oh, Jat Puneet. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. How's it going? To me, Indian people being in my country is not a problem at all. I know to him, he looks at an Indian person and he thinks, oh, I don't want you in my country. But to me, it's like someone's nationality doesn't matter to me at all.
Right.
We're doing good. But yeah, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I would say there's a little problem. Like, I don't have a problem with Indians specifically being in the United States, right? There are a lot of problems with like the H-1B visa, which a lot of them are here on. And I don't think it should be gotten rid of, but I definitely think that there's some things should happen to fix it. I enjoyed the colleagues that I had when I was working at Google that had a whole lot of Indian coworkers there.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with the H-1B visas, and it's why corporations love them so much, is that when you're here under an H-1B visa, the corporation that you're working for basically has full control over your immigration status.
Yeah.
And that puts you as a worker of that company at, in a very precarious situation where you have to appease the company always, because if you don't, they can just cause you to be deported, which really sucks.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like it would be much better if, the corporation sponsors these H-1B visas. To me, it would be much better if the entity that sponsors these H-1B visas is more like a nonprofit that works with a corporation, and that nonprofit can kind of determine that, like, oh, you're treating this employee unfairly, they should look for another job, and we're going to keep them here on their visa rather than them continue working at these unfair working conditions just because you control their immigration status.
Right. Yeah.
That to me would be a much better system than what we have right now. And I'm totally with you. Like, the H-1B visa system is broken.
Right. Yeah.
This is the leader of the Conservative Party. Americans might be fooled by that word. It's completely like false advertising, false branding. And I've done the same thing to other Reform and Conservative Party politicians, including in London last week, where I'm saying to them, you let in all these migrants. Now you're saying that you're going to reverse that or do the opposite. Why should we believe you?
Oh, sorry. Jat Puneet in chat. I didn't address. You said that you're Indian too. So, yeah, you probably have more experience about this than either of us do, so feel free to share your experience in chat.
You were elected 4 times in the last 14 years on a manifesto that said you're going to cut immigration, and you did the exact opposite. And it's so impressive, again, as I said, to see a nationalist president saying these things to Europe, saying, no, you need to stop this stuff. You're committing civilizational suicide. J.D. Vance went to Munich.
It's really depressing to see. And, I don't understand... Why do these guys think that immigration causes civilizational suicide or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
You think the illegals should be deported? Okay, without trial? So you don't believe in everyone deserves a fair trial, or you do believe in a fair trial and you think after that legal process then they should be deported? Just saying the illegals should be deported doesn't really give me any information about your view on this. Because essentially we would agree, we kind of discussed this a minute ago. After a legal process, if you are determined that you cannot become a legal immigrant, then you should be deported. Matt and I would both agree on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so going back to what this guy just said here, why do they always think that immigrations will absolutely definitely cause civilizational collapse or whatever they describe it as, when that just isn't borne out in any history? All examples throughout history of mass waves of immigration to a country are in the long term a net good for the country.
Yeah. There's examples of throughout history where immigrants have been kicked out of certain countries en masse, and that has caused serious problems, not the least of which is major economic problems.
Of kicking out all the immigrants?
All the immigrants, yeah.
Yeah.
Legal or otherwise.
Essentially, that's kind of what happened right now with farm labor. I'm not saying that it's
now.
It wasn't a problem before, that it wasn't a problem before that farm labor was handled by immigrants who weren't paid well. That is a problem, but the solution isn't just kick out all the immigrants.
Yeah.
Jod Punit, I have no idea what you're talking about there.
Or earlier this year, sorry. And again, it had a huge impact on the discourses, on the elites in Europe. I think there's a real kind of shift, a vibe shift against the mass migration. And Trump is also talking about energy. We have a vast, people don't know this in America, we have a vast amount of energy in the North Sea oil, that we're just not drilling because the government is refusing to let private companies drill the oil because of climate change, and we're hugely taxing it. And we have also a huge amount of fracking that we could do that we didn't do. Like, it's crazy. The American economy actually grew far, far quicker than the whole European economy in the last 20 years. If you look at the differences in GDP, and the main reason for that is because of your energy policies. You did frack to an extent, and that led an energy independence. Trump, when he was obviously a president in the first term.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the tech sector is like pretty much where most of the growth in the U.S. came from, right?
Yeah. It's a massive amount. It's actually, people are very worried about it, especially right now, because there's huge growth in the tech sector that seems to be happening because of AI, but there haven't been a lot of like real good uses for AI. It's kind of a hype machine right now, and people are very worried about a giant AI bubble popping sometime soon.
Yeah. The most I've used AI for is making silly songs.
Yeah. I've used it for a few things, particularly on writing some things and stuff like that and making images, but it's very limited and always takes a lot more work, than just typing in a prompt and having it come out perfect, right?
Yeah. And Japanu, you mentioned in chat that software is cheaper to produce than hardware. And in some ways that is true. But when you're talking about AI models specifically, they're actually incredibly expensive to produce because you have to train them, and that takes a lot of energy. So if there has been any gain in the energy sector in the US, it's probably mostly due to training these models. And I don't know why you would train them in the US. US energy is like fairly expensive, and you can train them anywhere.
Yeah.
Led to America being energy independent. And these kind of pro-growth policies are such a unique thing to America. Europe is committing suicide, and Trump has pointed it out.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL.
Oh, don't thank me for checking it out. That was
Monday
terrible,
through
Tim.
Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe.
That really was like, I would say mostly racism at the end there.
Yeah.
At the beginning when they were talking about the Trump, the escalator thing, that was just wild. The conspiracy theories they had there.
Yes.
Yeah. That was quite something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Create hardware is okay. Let's see. So the issue with running training AI in the United States is they need to use the hardware that you can buy in the United States, right? You can't just send it off to China and have China train this stuff, because we've been restricting what kind of hardware, at least we have in the past, can be sold in China, right? And some of the better NVIDIA cards. So that's why we're training it here in the United States, and people want to keep it that way, so they keep our homegrown, technology. But that's causing electricity prices to go up, especially in like certain rural areas where some of these data centers are popping up, or that
where they really can't afford the increase in energy prices.
And it's a big problem. And they're I don't know if you watch on YouTube a channel called More Perfect Union. They've been covering that recently. So yeah, it's
shout out to More Perfect
crazy,
Union.
What?
Shout out to More Perfect Union.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But what are you saying? It's crazy. What?
I don't know. It's crazy, like stuff that's happening, right? With forcing these the big companies to train stuff in the United States, which is in turn causing electricity prices to go up, causing electricity prices to go up all over the place. But especially in these rural areas that can't afford it when these data centers come in. And then, of course, what could mitigate that is more investment in renewable energy, because stuff like it's cheaper now to install solar panels than it is to even buy the fuel for gas and coal power generators, or power plants.
And then obviously the environmental impact is far less when you're using renewables versus using
Right.
coal or gas.
Right. So, yeah,
But that's something that, again, the conservatives don't give a shit about.
that's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they do not care how much CO2 we pump into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so that was our show. If you enjoyed that, try checking us out live sometime. We do this show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. Thank you for the follow, Jod Puneet. And thank you for hanging out with us in chat. And if you want to stick around after the ending here, we're going to come back in just for a little bit live. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like the channel and subscribe to the video. And something about a bell button or something. Click that. Get notifications for us. Again, I'm sorry about the jitteriness of the video this week. Something happened where my drivers got upgraded, and now it's just super jittery. So I apologize for that. Hopefully it'll be better next week. But thank you and have a good week.
Later.